The Black Dahlia murder is one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in U.S. history, involving the brutal slaying of Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old woman who became a posthumous icon due to the mystery surrounding her death. Who was Elizabeth Short? Elizabeth Short was born on July 29, 1924, in Boston, Massachusetts. She moved to Los Angeles in 1946 with hopes of becoming an actress. Short had a distinctive look, dark hair, pale skin, and piercing blue eyes, which earned her the nickname the Black Dahlia, a reference to the popular 1946 movie The Blue Dahlia. Short was reportedly struggling to find fame in Hollywood and was working as a waitress when she was murdered. Elizabeth had a troubled past, including living in foster homes and dealing with family issues. She spent time with different boyfriends and men in Los Angeles, but was said to have been alone and largely isolated in the weeks before her death. Despite her aspirations, she had few close friends in the city. Elizabeth Short's body was found in a vacant lot in Leimert Park, a residential area in Los Angeles, on the morning of January 15, 1947. A local woman walking with her child stumbled upon the dismembered corpse. What made the discovery even more shocking was the brutal nature of the crime. Short's body was severed in half at the waist, completely drained of blood, and carefully posed in a horrific manner. Her body was positioned with her arms stretched above her head and her legs spread apart. One of the most disturbing features was the slashing of her face, creating what would later be known as the Black Dahlia smile, a grotesque cut from the corners of her mouth, making her appear to be grinning. The murder was meticulously planned, suggesting the killer had some level of medical or psychological expertise. The autopsy confirmed that Elizabeth Short had been strangled and likely died several hours before her body was dumped. The mutilation of her body was part of the killer's effort to control the scene, with no signs of sexual assault, though the nature of the crime suggested it could have been sexually motivated. The Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, immediately launched an investigation, but the case was quickly bogged down by a lack of evidence. Elizabeth Short had been a transient figure, staying in various places around Los Angeles, and police could not find any conclusive leads regarding her activities in the days before her death. The police received hundreds of tips and interviewed numerous suspects, but many of these leads turned out to be false or unsubstantiated. The sheer volume of tips from the public and the press only added confusion, and the case soon became a media frenzy. The weapon used to sever Elizabeth's body was never found, adding to the mystery. The LAPD initially believed it might have been a surgical instrument due to the precision of the cuts. Some even speculated that the killer could have been someone with medical or anatomical training. After the murder, the killer sent several letters to the press, taunting the police with cryptic messages. Some letters included pieces of Elizabeth Short's personal belongings, like an ID card and part of her clothing. One letter famously read, "I will give you my identity if you will catch me, but I will never tell you who I am." The most famous of these letters was signed, "The Black Dahlia Avenger." It included a mixture of bizarre and threatening language, showing the killer's desire to toy with both the police and the public. These letters captivated the media and became an iconic part of the case, but despite numerous attempts to decode them, none of the letters revealed any significant clues. Over the years, there have been numerous suspects and theories about the Black Dahlia case, but no one has ever been definitively identified as the killer. Dr. George Hodel was a prominent Los Angeles physician and a prime suspect early on in the investigation. He was known to have a troubled past, including accusations of inappropriate behavior with young women. His son, Steve Hodel, has become a vocal advocate for the theory that his father was the Black Dahlia killer. Steve Hodel has written books alleging that his father was not only responsible for the Black Dahlia murder, but also for other unsolved crimes in Los Angeles. He points to circumstantial evidence, such as Dr. Hodel's medical knowledge, which could have allowed him to perform the precise cuts on Elizabeth's body, and his proximity to the crime scene. Steve also points to his father's behavior, including his connection to other suspects and the fact that he was under suspicion at the time of the murder. However, Dr. Hodel was never charged with Elizabeth Short's murder, and the evidence remains circumstantial, leaving the theory highly controversial. Some investigators have suggested that the Black Dahlia murder could have been the work of a serial killer who may have been responsible for other similar crimes in the Los Angeles area. There were other unsolved murders in the same period that displayed characteristics similar to the Black Dahlia case, particularly mutilations of the body. Though the theory is compelling, there is no direct evidence linking the Black Dahlia murder to other killings. As such, while this remains a possibility, it's not conclusive. Some theories suggest that Elizabeth Short's murder was linked to Hollywood's dark side, possibly involving powerful figures within the entertainment industry. Elizabeth Short was an aspiring actress, and it's been speculated that she might have been involved with influential Hollywood figures, making her a target. Some believe that Elizabeth may have been killed because she had information about a Hollywood scandal, or because she was blackmailing someone powerful in the industry. Some theories focus on the possibility that the killer was someone close to Elizabeth, such as an ex-boyfriend, a lover, or someone she'd been involved with romantically. Elizabeth Short had a history of brief romantic entanglements, and it's suggested that a jealous or abusive partner may have been responsible for the crime. The extreme nature of the mutilation and dismemberment could point to a crime of passion, where a scorned lover or angry ex killed her out of revenge or rage. Some men from Elizabeth's past, including a man named Robert Manley, were questioned in connection to the case, but none were conclusively linked to the murder. The Black Dahlia case remains unsolved, and the true identity of Elizabeth Short's killer has never been determined. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged, ranging from suspects like Dr. George Hodel to ideas about a serial killer or Hollywood connections. While many of these theories are intriguing, none have provided conclusive evidence that definitively solves the case. The Black Dahlia murder continues to captivate the public and remain one of the most famous unsolved crimes in American history.